This podcast is dedicated to helping high achievers on the verge of burnout reclaim a healthier work-life balance without sacrificing growth or success. Welcome to episode 26 of Give Yourself Some Leeway with me, your host, Eugene Lee. Today's episode, I like to see it as kind of a bonus episode because it wasn't planned or anything. It just kind of came naturally in mid-conversation with Lance in episode 17. It was a bit off topic and we kind of went off on a tangent, so we edited it out of the episode because it wasn't really relevant, but it was still such a golden nugget that I couldn't not share with you. So Lance and I were talking about different ways of going into nature and spending time alone in nature, and that solitude was a great way of embracing mindfulness for us. So I wanted to hear your opinion on that. Do you agree with what Lance has to say? Do you agree what I had to say about mindfulness? If you want to give me feedback, you can reach out to me at giveyourselfsomeleeway.com. On social media, on Instagram, I'm eugene.leeway, or send me an email, eugene@leeway.ie. I would love to hear your opinion on this, and I really hope you enjoyed today's episode.
There's something about me that's always been drawn to mountains and to hills and just beautiful cascading landscapes. And maybe it's a kind of that it's ingrained in my DNA because my people come from there. And then I also grew up in the mountains of Vermont, and so that's what I'm used to seeing. And there's a certain type of peace that comes with being in that area, for those types of areas for me, where you feel like you're a piece of a bigger world. So I love those kind of areas.
Yeah, I suppose it brings back to like the importance of like forest bathing and stuff like that. That's becoming the fact it's trending again to go forest bathing and just being just enjoying the solitude in nature and kind of being mindful of like the smell of different plants and flowers and trees and listening for birds and the likes. And it's a great like mindfulness experience. And it's nice to see people returning to nature that way too.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I mean, not to get off topic, but still on topic a little bit. But I think that's something that we lack too much in our society. Is we are constantly in a world of stimulation. So like when you're in your car, you're driving down the interstate. There's people weaving in and out. There's horns honking. There's noise, everything around, and so your body's kind of stuck in this stress response mode. You know what I mean? Like that we're not conditioned as humans to be in. Back in the day, way back millions of years ago, our life was pretty peaceful. Like it would be in the woods. It would be kind of having this in touch relationship with nature. Every once in a while you'd get the crap scared out of you because something would jump out of a bush or so on and so forth, and you would get that spike of cortisol, and that flight or fight would kick in. But we're living in this constant state of stimulus with our flight or fight going off the roof, and that stress is leading to burnout, leading to other aspects. And to be able to be back in touch with our most primitive forms, I think that's something that we really neglect. I'm a firm advocate of like there's certain places on this earth that I found that I just feel like I have this innate connection to, where if I just go and I sit and I just absorb and take everything in, it feels like it takes me back to this baseline. And I think that's something everybody should do. I hadn't. What did you call it? Forest bathing. That's the first time I've heard that term.
Yeah.
So that might be an Ireland term, but I absolutely love that. But it's actually
Japanese. The Japanese came up with it. I think it always comes back to Japanese when it comes to quality and quality management. And it also comes back like no other country. Like I think it was a Japanese marketing concept as well. The whole 10,000 steps daily, when they're bringing in pedometers and the likes, and they came up the whole marketing concept of it's healthy. Like for a healthy lifestyle, you walk 10,000 steps daily. And it's like there's no other country out there that puts a whole sales marketing team behind doing healthy behaviors that are good for you because it improves your quality of life and improves quality and productivity. And it was the same with forest bathing. Forest bathing is just like being mindful in nature and getting out and spending time in nature. And they do it as kind of almost like a silent retreat or like rest and recovery practice. And I was like, there's no other from what I've experienced, it all comes back to Japan. Japan puts out all these different like health and wellness and like recovery practices, and all these quality management principles also come from Japanese companies. So I know that's always just something that anytime I look up any health and wellness or quality like, because my background is in quality management, like working in the food industry, and it always comes back to Japanese practices.
Yeah, and I think I mean the proof's in the pudding per se that when you look at that area of the world, you look at Japan and Southeast Asia, they have one of the highest levels of octogenarians across the world, where the life expectancy is much higher than what we see in a lot of Western cultures. And yeah, I mean they're doing something right. They're having people that are living a balanced lifestyle with healthy connections to nature, much different diets than the traditional Western diet, and it's leading to longer life expectancies. It's leading um, to just better health and better happiness. So they're definitely onto something.
Yeah, definitely, and there's definitely a lot that we can learn and kind of like implement even into Western culture, like the likes of 10,000 steps becoming the norm now, and again, people kind of getting more involved in nature, and I think the emphasis on having more nature, especially in built up areas, just planting more trees, and the necessity to have like public parks, and trying
Yeah,
to bring more nature back into like the bringing more biodiversity into city living.
yeah, no, I would agree. There's another concept that I kind of stole from Japanese culture, and I may butcher the pronunciation of this. So if there's anybody that's fluent in Japan in Japanese or of Japanese culture, please don't go too hard on me. It was something along, I think it's Misagi or something along that line. If anybody's familiar with Jesse Itzler, who's an entrepreneur here in the US, that's also kind of pushes the extremes. He talks about this quite a bit, but my understanding of it is this ritualistic purification that happens on an annual basis, generally, where you spend the whole year building up to this culminating event or this culminating experience, and you lay it all on the table and you do whatever you need to do, and use that as kind of this spiritual and physical reset. And so it's something that I've tried to incorporate into my life through physical activity. And so like I do it twice per year, where I set two goals that of generally is some sort of physical, either strength based or endurance activity, where I set a goal that's something that I know I can't do or that I shouldn't be able to do. And then I train for half a year to try to hit that. And then I culminate and I go balls out and just use that as my moment to reset myself, not just on a physical and emotional level, but a spiritual level. And what I've been able to see is I've been able to have some of the most impactful moments of my life outside of the normal of childbirth and so on and so forth. But where you have one of these goals that you felt that was untangible, and then when you actually hit that, the feeling of joy that you have when you do that, and the feeling of accomplishment, it builds something within you and builds a sense of purpose. I think for me it was the same sense of purpose and the same sense of worth that I would get from work. It's I've been able to substitute that through pushing myself to these kind of, I don't want to say extremes, but these hard tasks. And so it's allowed me to help build my identity and my self assurance outside of the title that I have at work and so on and so forth. And it's been a very great experience. But if people want to know more, Jesse Itzler, he's an author and entrepreneur out of the US, and he talks about it quite a bit on his social media. So.
Well, I hope you enjoyed today's episode of Give Yourself Some Leeway, and if you did, please rate and review wherever you're listening to this. It makes the podcast more easily found, and if you got value from today's episode, please share with family, friend, or a loved one, because they may benefit from it just as much as you did. If you have any questions or any feedback on the topic, or maybe ideas for future episodes, you can reach out to me at giveyourselfsomeleeway.com or send me an email, eugene@leeway.ie. I read everything myself and usually respond within a day or so. So yeah, I look forward to hearing from you, and I hope you have a great day, and we'll talk soon.